Alright, I welcome you to our tutorial for today. My name is Brian Zala. I'll be taking through the bronchial plexus. So, uh, the bronchial plexus is under the peripheral nervous system. We know to say the peripheral nervous system has two nerves. We've got a spinal nerves, a set of nerves. We've got a spinal nerves, and we've got the cranial nerves. So we've got 31 spinal nerves, and we've got 12 cranial nerves. So basically, we look at the bronchial plexus, which is part of the peripheral nervous system. So for us to understand the bronchial plexus very well, we need to have a background on the branching of the spinal nerves. So basically, we've got that one. So we've got we all know to say the spinal cord is divided. The regions are divided according to the vertebral bones. So we've got 8 spinal nerves that are branching from the cervical region. Then we've got 12 that are branching from the thoracic region. And then we've got 5 branching from the lumbar region. We've got 5 as well branching from the sacral. And we've got 1 uh, branching from the coccygeal region, the spinal cord. So these spinal nerves, they branch or they arise from the spinal cord as rootlets. So the first branch of the spinal nerves, we call them as rootlets. These rootlets, they further divide into two roots, with the posterior root and the anterior root. These two posterior and anterior roots, they further unite to form mixed nerves which contain the sensory and the motor nerves. These mixed nerves, which are a unit of the posterior and the anterior roots, they further immediately divide into two. So I've got the posterior ramus and the anterior ramus. So these two, posterior and anterior ramus, the posterior ramus, this innervates the posterior aspect of the neck and the shoulder. So, but basically, let's forget about the posterior ramus, but we'll concentrate on the anterior ramus. So this anterior ramus forms a unit on the both sides of the spinal cord. It forms units that we call the plexus. So it forms the plexus. It forms plexuses. Yeah. So basically, it forms 5 plexuses. So I've got a cervical plexus, which supplies the neck and the diaphragm. So this is basically where the cranial nerve, or the uh, phrenic nerve, which innervates the diaphragm, originates from the cervical plexus. Then we've got the bronchial plexus, of which we're going to deal with today, which supplies the upper limbs. Then we've got the lumbar plexus, which supplies the lower limb. Then we've got the sacral, which supplies the lower limb and the pelvical muscles. Then the last one, we've got the coccygeal plexus, which supplies the pelvic. So basically, let's also take note to say the thoracic region, which contains 12 uh, 12 spinal nerves. This does not form any plexus. It doesn't form any plexuses, and it innervates the intercostal muscles. Basically, these are muscles that uh, are between the ribs. So it innervates the first 11 spinal nerves of the cervical region, innervates the intercostal muscles, and the 12 spinal nerves of the thoracic region. This innervates the subcostal region. So we have seen to say I've got 5 plexuses. So we would like to concentrate on the bronchial plexus. So basically the bronchial plexus, it runs from C5 to T1 on the spinal cord. So this bronchial plexus, it further, sorry for that. So follow me properly. These bronchial plexus, they further divide into 6 branches. We've got the roots, we've got the tracks, we've got the division, and we've got the cords, and the last one we've got the terminal nerves. So let's keep in mind to say the bronchial plexus is innervates the upper limb, which is the forearm and the arm. So the roots. So these roots, the root, which is the arterial lemma, the C5 and the C6, these two will converge to form the superior tracts. Then we've got the C7 root. This C7 won't meet with any roots, but it will continue to form the medial tracts. Then we've got the C8 and the T1. These two will combine to form the inferior tracts. Then these 3 tracts will further divide into 2. We've got the arterial and the posterior divisions. So we've got the arterial and the posterior divisions. So these 2 divisions, which are branching from the tracts, let's follow me properly. So we've got 2 arterial. So we've got 2 divisions. We've got the arterial division and the posterior division. So the 2 arterial divisions, as you can see here, they will combine to form the lateral cords. Then 3 posterior divisions will combine to form the posterior cord, to form the posterior cord. And this posterior cord is the one which innervates the posterior aspect of the arm. Then, sorry for that. Then, one arterial division will continue to form the medial cord. Then further, these 3 cords will continue and form what you call the terminal nerves. These are the ones that are going to see, to form the terminal nerves. So the famous terminal nerves, which branch from the bronchial plexus, we've got the radial nerve and the ulnar nerve. So basically, this is the bronchial plexus. But before we go, allow me to just further mention on the lumbar plexus. So the lumbar plexus actually just runs from T12 to L4. The major important nerve which branches from this is the obturator nerve. The obturator nerve which goes to the pelvic. So we've got this, the lumbar plexus, it innervates the pelvic and the lower limb. Then we've got the cranial plexus. The cranial plexus, it runs from L4 to C4. So basically, one of the important nerves which uh, branches from the sacral plexus is the sciatic nerve. The sciatic nerve, which innervates the muscles of the posterior aspect of the thigh. And lastly, we've got the coccygeal plexus. The coccygeal plexus, this coccygeal plexus actually the most important nerve. This innervates the lower limb and part of the, the pelvic. So basically, that's the bronchial plexus. So we can call it a day. Thank you.